Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
MJ in the house.
It's unbelievable, fans. It's a little chilly outside. Valentine's Day is coming up this weekend. If you want to warm your heart, stand by. Our brand new Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty is next.
Boston wrestling sports and the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE, NXT, and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insiders. It's Thursday night. It's 10 o'clock. I'm Dan Marty. I'm not Marty Jannetty. He's Marty Jannetty.
MJ in the house.
He's always in the house, baby. We love Thursday nights. We're very happy to have you here with us as we continue to look at 1989 and all the other twists and turns that Marty takes us on as we continue through that time in his life, in his career, in the ring, out of the ring. What are you looking for?
Where's my phone, bro?
You charged it over there, remember?
Oh, okay.
I won't forget.
I see it.
All right, you see it, brother. You see it.
It scares me. He always hides my phone.
And you know, the funny thing is I've never even touched the phone, other than when he hands it to me to talk to random strangers that I don't know. Like last night at the hotel when we were...
Who was that?
I have not a clue. I don't remember. I think it said New York.
I might have been Kara.
Yes, I think it was, as a matter of fact, now that you mention it, yeah. Nice lady.
Yeah, she's sweet.
Okay. All right, well, let's get back to 1989, Marty. Late February 1989, WCW presents a heck of a pay-per-view. Chicago, Illinois, a classic between Ric Flair and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. They had several classics.
That was in 89?
That was in 89.
Damn.
And to go head-to-head with that, WWF said, well, you know, let's fuck with them a little bit. And they ran a free face-to-face...
That's dirty pool, man.
Face-to-face special on the USA Network where they took kind of matches that were coming at WrestleMania and they just did kind of interviews with the guys coming up. I remember I didn't order the pay-per-view. I watched the WWF special and it was very underwhelming. Do you think it hurt the talent overall when you try and see that type of sabotage? As we mentioned, the first Royal Rumble in 1988 wasn't even on pay-per-view. It was a free special on the USA Network to fuck with NWA for doing the Bunkhouse Stampede on pay-per-view.
Man, that's part of the business. You learn as you see it. You know, to me, that's the genius of some of these guys like Vince, or you know, even down there. Who was running it then? Bischoff?
No, at that point.
89.
George Scott was the booker.
George was?
Yep.
But, you know, that's the genius of it. We one-up them, they're like, well, all right, we'll one-up your one-up. You know, and you learn. The guys sit back and learn from that. At first it seems like shitty, but later in your career you find out that kind of shit goes on all the time. So, you learn stuff. And me and Matt Daddy were talking about something today. Matt Daddy is in the control room, makes all this work.
Not Glantz.
Great guy.
Not Glantz.
Why do you bother him, man?
Glantz said he was looking for your outfits that you said when you were a kid. When you only had a couple. He said, that's two more than
diapers?
I have. No, remember you said, you know, when you were young and life wasn't going so great for you, you only had a couple of outfits to pick from.
That was after that lawsuit. I lost $500,000.
Now, Glant said he needed more than one, so he's ready to go down there and see what you have left.
Yeah, okay.
The table scraps.
I'll make something up.
All right, well, you're a good man.
Yeah, but we was talking about that. Me and Matt Daddy was talking about that. I mean,
About Glant's?
no. But learning, everything's a learning process. I mean, what you see here is only going to scale up as you climb the ladder. There's going to be more shit. And if you just step right up in the top rung, oh, that shit's going to be overwhelming. But if you learned a little bit, and then when you get to the top, you got all that underneath you that you've already learned, you can handle it. You know, but so it was good for the boys to learn. I used to think it was amazing. Like, how are they going to outdo, one up this one? And then they would do it every time. They, both sides were doing good. Like when I told you, like the last episode.
Well, WCW wasn't doing so good. They were losing so much money, they were forced to sell to Ted Turner.
Yeah, Ted called. Vince even said this on the interview.
The husband of Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda, there she is.
You ever meet her?
I ain't gonna say nothing. You're always trying to get me in trouble.
I've just asked. I know you've met a lot of celebrities.
I met her through the TV. I saw her on TV
Christy
once.
Brinkley, Melania Trump, Vanna White. You've met a lot of celebrities over the years.
That's what happens when you're in the wrestling world or in TV land. You meet people.
Annie.
Yeah, AEA.
Annie.
Tell them what that stands for. I don't want to say it.
Well, I tell you this. They came up with an angle, Tony Khan, down in Jacksonville. He said Vicky Guerrero is there now, and they were going to bring in Annie to say that AEW stood for ass-eating wrestling. And her and Vicky Guerrero were going to start a program. She was going to have a little faction. And if they won the match, they get the treatment. If they lose,
on camera?
If they lose, they get nothing. But we'll see. If AEW wants to get edgy, they could turn into ass-eating wrestling.
You might want to call erotica videos for that one.
All right, let me ask you this one. March 8th, the World of Professional Wrestling lost Houston wrestling promoter Paul Bosch.
Yeah.
Did you ever work Houston? Did you know Paul Bosch?
No. But when I went to, what year, what was the date? Because I went
March
there.
March 8th of 89.
89, yeah, because I went there in 2000 and ran a Power Zone Wrestling. My friend Rick Darren, he was the owner of it, and we've been friends forever. And he called me up. I was so happy in Clearwater, Florida. I love that place.
I love Clearwater Beach,
it's the best,
Florida.
man.
Oh, you're bringing that up now?
Yeah, I was so.
I don't want to talk wrestling. I love that area.
So happy, man. Everybody that ever tells me about they're going down to Tampa, I tell them,
Clearwater Beach.
Go over the bridge.
Clearwater Beach. It's a little bit of a hike over the bridge sometimes.
Ain't that bad. It's fun because you see the bay.
Yeah,
going over
yeah.
And, I was so happy. I had everything set up just right each night of the week, which club to go to. And there was a night, every night. Monday was, Ale House, or Sunday was Ale House. Monday, I'm not going to name all the places because I'm free publicity and they don't let me drink for free sometimes now.
There you go, right, yeah.
And plus the Diamond Dolls, it was, all my Tampa people know. Yeah, I'm going to hush now. They get busted a lot. They got busted a lot, but they're sticking through there. Because I guess some of the girls down there, there's some raunchy ass strip clubs around the country. 2001 down there in Tampa, you remember that one? I think it was on Hillsborough Avenue. Them and Diamond Dolls, the girls were known to take you in the back room for a lap dance, which was always a little bit more. But it was
privacy.
You see guys.
Privacy.
Oh yeah. Guys would be coming in, like more and more guys coming in and wearing gym shorts. And at night, they didn't work out. You could tell they didn't work out. If they did, they hurt themselves. But what the girls would do is like get on and do the lap dance and for extra money, because it was known. It was a known thing. They pulled the shorts over. So a lot of them were getting busted for that. But
and what does this have to do with Paul Bosch passing away?
Because Rick called me and he said, "Hey man, I want you to move to Houston." And I was happy where I was at, but it was an opportunity to run his wrestling. He had bought a wrestling school. He goes, "It's yours. You run that, and you're in charge of Power Zone Wrestling." I ended up naming it Body Slam University. I'll bring in one of the flyers. It was a pretty cool setup. Next time we're doing an episode.
Yeah, last time no heat or anything, but you said you were going to bring some pictures that we could incorporate in. But you know what? I think it'll be great once you do to add some,
I can always send them to you
an
through
email
the internet.
or Facebook. Yeah.
I'll do that. You got to remind me. Because
do
there
that,
would be
don't worry.
nice little things to interject, especially like this one,
Yeah.
one of the flyers. And it was so cool. We would average, even during our third, we had an hour show, and almost 30 minutes of it was filled up with promoting the Body Slam University, you know, the
Right,
school.
yeah.
And but we did good with it. But here was the thing, man. You remember I explained what GAT is, that GAT luck I
Yeah,
have?
yeah.
Man, I was sitting there in Clearwater, and for y'all that missed that, GAT's, you know, the luck I have is GAT, which stands for God's Amusement Toy. Meaning when God's tired of all his natural disasters, earthquakes, you know, tornadoes, forest fires, and brush fires, and tsunamis, and quasar explosions. He gets tired with all that. He looks around. Where's Jannetty?
Finds Marty.
Damn it. But so anyway, I got gadded so bad on this one. I was so happy where I was at, Clearwater. I had my friends, Mike Moran, and lived right up the street. Me and him have been buddies since we broke in together in Kansas City, 1984. And you know, we're still buddies to this day. But you know, I got to be. We hung out, and you know, he'd been living there for a while. When I first moved there, he showed me around. Ybor City's another place that back then, I don't know what it's like now. I heard it's kind of rough.
Declined.
Gangs kind of took over.
Declined.
Yeah, are you been there lately?
Not lately, but I know enough people that are around there. It's certainly not Clearwater Beach.
Yeah, Clearwater's doing. I don't even know if Shepherd's is still there. I'd worked there as security for a while. And boy, that was some fun. We had on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, you had the wet T-shirt contest, and
I want to go back now that you're mentioning it. I love Clearwater
you know
Beach.
what? People are so happy there, and it's got to be because of the weather. It's always, even when it's cold, it's warm. You know, and everybody's, you know, because of the beaches, you know, the nicest beaches on the planet are right there, and you know, people want to work out and look good, and when you look good, you feel good, and you feel good, you do good. You know, to quote Deion Sanders, and everybody's happy because when you're healthy, you're happy. You know, and people want to stay healthy there, so you walk around in shorts and tank tops or bikini tops or whatever. Glance would wear a bikini top, wouldn't he?
He'd wear one of those spaghetti string tank tops from Gold's Gym to show off his biceps.
You know, he wrestled though. He was.
That's what he told me. Yeah, he said he was an amateur up there with Angle and Patera Rastani. But
he was up at that level.
he was. He said he was a higher weight though. He was around 200 pounds at that point, which I couldn't picture that.
I can't either.
Maybe he really was a Goliath at one point. I don't know. But back to Paul Bosch. Did you ever?
Well, I was going to get there.
I'm sorry.
Sometimes I take a long exit street and can get back on the highway, but Rick called me up and said, "Hey, you know, come run this." Now I'm happy as hell where I'm at. I mean, life, you know, as a single guy, you know, the women there in Clearwater,
Paradise.
you know, and so you know, I'm gonna leave that fun lifestyle. But it was more. It meant more to me to go run a wrestling company and a wrestling school. So, packed up the U-Haul, drove my ass from where I was at Clearwater to Houston. I think it took 14 hours, maybe somewhere. It was long. I mean, you know, Clearwater's right here at the bottom of Florida. You drive all across the Panhandle, over through Mississippi, Louisiana.
It's a long ride.
Yeah, it's a long way to get over to Texas from there. And I drove. I had a friend help me. One of my girls, Donna, not that kind of girlfriend. She was a good friend. Went with me. She actually flew in from Houston to help me drive there.
Oh, that's nice of her.
Yeah, I had an injury then. I'm always injured. And so she was going to help me drive. We went right through. We just switch off and take turns driving so that we didn't have to stop and somebody sleep. You know, you sleep. And after 19 hours of driving, took her to her house, dropped her off, and then drove the rest of the way to Rick's place. And you know, you're dead ass tired after, like, I'm going to just say it was 12 hours of driving, maybe 13 or something.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
If you went nonstop.
Yeah, we did. You stopped to get gas and stuff, and that was it. But it was like 3 in the morning, and you've been driving 12, 14 hours, whatever it was. You're like this. But, you know, as soon as I pulled up to Rick's house, I got all excited, you know, because I'm here. Now I want to go see what we're doing. And, you know, I jump out the thing, and he comes out, we hug, you know, we're friends for like years and years. hugging, you know, the high fives and all that. Good to see. And I was so eager, like, go show me what we were working with. Let's go inside. Let's go show me what you're working with. And we got in there. He goes, okay, come on in. He got a VHS tape, you know, the old VHS. Stuck it in there. And I'm watching, you know, because I'm wanting to see what my guys, you know, I'm going to be booking it. I'm going to be running it. I want to see what I'm working with. And I watched the first match he's showing me, and I'm like, oh, skip forward to the next one. And I'm watching the next one. And I'm like, skip forward to the next one. And I'm watching that one, and my shoulders probably started like this, so excited, and I think they're slowly going like this.
It was no good.
That was like, get to our main guys. He goes, that is them. I was like, oh my God. Oh boy. All right, well, we'll make them better. Let me see the school, the students. And he got quiet. He goes, well, we only got a few. And I'm sitting there thinking, did I really just move here? Did I just leave where I was happy? And I said, a few being how many? He goes, I don't know, 3 or 4, but people heard you're coming, so there's a lot of people who want to sign up. And that did happen. About 15 or 20 signed up within a week. But then I was like, well, who are our sponsors? You know, how many sponsors have we got? He goes, well, that's another problem. I'm like, what? What do you mean that's a problem? He goes, we kind of need you to go get them. They'll do it for you, they're just not doing it for me. So really nothing is damn set. He was paying, I think it was for that hour, and it was late. It was like 12 o'clock at night. It was like $800 for that hour of TV with no sponsors. It just Body Slam University, Body Slam University, Body Slam University, and back to the show. Oh man, you talk about, my heart just broke right then. I left where I was happy. I was set
For a lot of work.
Man, I was in training wise. I was going to the boxing gym in the morning from 10 to 12, I think, whatever it was. It was early morning, 9 to 11, whatever.
To train yourself?
Yeah, boxing. Yeah.
Oh, you box?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then in the afternoon, or around 5 o'clock, but between boxing, around noonish, or you hit the beach, get some sun. 2 or 3 o'clock, me and Mike, my buddy Mike Moran, we'd head over to the gym, Gold's Gym, hit that workout. 5:30 or maybe 6 o'clock, the class for martial arts. Sensei always moved that, like, tomorrow we're going to start at 5, tomorrow we're starting at 7. All right. But so that was the routine every 5 days a week. Weekends it kind of backed off. You got to recoup, But oh man, I loved it. And then when I had, and I was having very few shows, but I was still getting pretty big royalty checks from WWE at the time, F at the time.
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
And, I was able to float. There was pretty much all I do is train. All I do is work out and go to the beach and watch these girls and work security. I worked security, but it just wasn't doing that many independent shows when I was down there. But to have that life, I was, well, what more could you? You're living the life. You're doing all that training during the day that you love. I love boxing. I love the martial arts. I love my sensei, man. Rest in peace, man. I miss the hell out of him. And you're training the sun, the beach, the girls, the single, the clubs. And I'm going to leave that because I wanted, my bigger passion is the business.
Wrestling, yep.
And so to get there, it just compounded the hurt was to drive all damn night. There was actually maybe a tear, maybe 2, that I was leaving where I was so happy.
Sure.
And then maybe
Makes
halfway
sense.
I started going towards, okay, but I will be happier here. And then to get
Nothing
there.
wrong with Houston.
Yeah.
It's not
Well, it
Clearwater
wasn't Houston.
Beach,
It wasn't Houston. There was nothing waiting on me. We had less than talented guys. It was okay because we got them good. We made them better, which that made me feel good. I was watching the guys, leapfrog up into better, than where they were. But we had no sponsors for the show, so how are you going to pay me, Rick? Well, I'm going to pay for your, where you're going to live and transportation and, all your expenses while you're here. So really, I'm not going to make anything. I just don't got to spend
You're just going to
anything.
be able to live.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but that wasn't even, I didn't even care about that. Plus, Houston was new to me. I've been there many times. That's where I met Kim Road Warrior Animal's wife.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's where I met her, you know, and Donna lived there. I got Bonnie, this girl Bonnie that I used to see all the time. Bonnie Allgood. Her last name was Allgood. You want me to tell you why? That's really her last name, Allgood. But so, I mean, you know, I had friends there.
Yeah.
And so in Houston, I had never lived there. I've been there a million times for shows. You know. That wasn't the hurt. The hurt was I just left complete contentment to come here to nothing. There's nothing waiting on me. There's a wrestling organization. You're handing me, it's sort of like, no, I ain't going to go political. I was about to go, but you're handing me a piece of shit to make better.
And you really have no idea if you're even going to be paid outside of your life expenses.
Yeah, well, and right away I got so lucky. Right away, Bill Hurd Chevrolet was based out of Columbus, Georgia, and I'm friends with Hurds. And they had one there in Sugar Land, I think it was, at Bill Hurd Chevrolet. And it was one of the boys that, you know, when I said, oh, he goes, we were going to get them. I said, oh, they're here in Houston. I know them personally. They're from Columbus, Georgia. And so he's like, yeah, you know them. I said, yeah, let's go talk to them right away. So first day there, boom, we got a big one. I mean, that was a big one. That paid all the expenses for the I think it was $8,800 for that hour show. Or it might have been, I don't remember how that worked, but it more than covered that and expenses of running.
We need a car sponsorship.
What's that?
We need a car sponsorship.
Who's up here?
Oh, I mean, there's a million car dealerships, but you know, you're getting stroking my mind as far
Well,
as.
I mean, I know a few people from over the years. I might can find you something.
All right. Well, anything, you know what I mean? Like I said, anything helps. Anything we can do to try and enhance the show, keep the legends working.
You know, when I watch the show, who do you have for sponsors? I know you do the sort of like what they did there, you know.
Yeah.
But yours is you know, the products and Paramount. Now, what's it called?
Patreon.
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 We got the Patreon. We got the eBay store. We got the T-shirt fundraiser on BostonWrestling.com. We have some of our great friends here in the city in Melrose that like to try and feed the crew from time to time, but that's a different story for a different time. But back to Paul Bosch.
Wait, all my Boston people, and I got a bunch here, we're going to need some sponsorship. Get in touch with me on Facebook. If you don't have my phone number or you don't my email, hit me up on Facebook. Or Twitter, or what's the other one I'm on, Instagram?
I don't even
And
know.
now a new one, Parlor. That's the one I'm probably going to stick with. They don't censor your shit.
Parlor?
Parlor. You ain't heard about it?
I've never heard of it.
Oh,
What's in it? I'm going to write it down.
Yeah, it's spelled P-A-R-L-E-R. Parlor.
L-E-R.
Yeah. They don't censor your shit like Facebook, and that Mark Suck a Meat Burger is not in charge. You know, it's better. I hope they don't see that now blocked by their Facebook account. But that's the shit you won't have to put up with. But back to what I was saying, you know, my people from the gyms, the car lots, anywhere. We need some sponsorship.
Come on in, baby.
Yeah,
We're more than ready and waiting.
Hit me up. In fact, here's my number, 702. Oh, no, I don't want to do that, do I?
681-92-K.
Oh, you 812.
As we have to wrap up the show, I'm getting the signal in the back. Anything about Paul Bosch? We know Houston.
So anyway, I got there, and you know, right away, the first thing I was hearing was Paul Bosch. You're going to make it as good as Paul Bosch. And I
Really? Well, and he had a great reputation as
they
one of
love
the best
him. They love
payoff
him
men
to
in the
this day,
business.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
The boys loved him, the fans loved him. So I would always, it's called a cheap pop. Every time I'd be in the ring to do an interview, and I'd say, and the great Paul Bosch, and they would just go crazy. They loved him there.
All right. Well, I have no idea what that means because 20.
Oh, we're over. Okay. Hey, y'all got to tune in.
You only came out once for this episode?
No, it came out twice.
Oh, all right. Well, you know what? No, we're not ready to wrap up yet then. All right, good.
So yeah, man, they love him in Houston.
I tell you this, his wife just passed away.
Really?
And Bruce Pritchard bought everything that had to do with the Paul Bosch Houston Wrestling. I think he owns everything that has to do with that.
Bruce or WWE?
No, Bruce personally.
For himself?
Yeah,
he had
a very loyal attach, because I think he was only like maybe 10, 12 years old when he started selling programs for Bosch.
Oh, really?
So he had quite the
that where they're
attachment
from,
to
Texas?
them. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
him and Tom.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this,
Tom,
but
I love Tom, man.
he has a son that's blind.
Which
Paul
one, Tom?
Bosch now.
Oh, yeah.
And he would at the Cauliflower Rally Club every year. He's tremendous with the piano, even though he can't see. And
Yeah,
he'd play the, during dinner and whatnot, he'd add the background music. He'd come with the mum to the Cauliflower Rally Club reunion. So I guess part of the reason why Bruce wanted to do it was a lot of the money went to the kid to try and help him out where he's blind. So kudos to Bruce. Bruce has been a longtime friend of the show. I don't know what you think of Brucey Bruce, but you know what? He's always been great to us.
And he was always good to me. I love Bruce.
Well, good. All right, as we continue.
Did you use a shortcut it like that? Yeah, well, good.
Well,
good.
It would probably make for a more interesting story if he stiffed you or screwed you or lied to you in some way, shape, or form.
No, you actually helped me.
But I like Bruce, so I'm glad that he was good to you.
Yeah, he's good to
Bruce is
everybody.
another one of those guys that some people, they either really like him or they don't like him.
I don't know what you would not like about him.
In that position that he's been in over the
Oh,
years
yeah,
in
with
talent
that, yeah,
relations,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's a tough spot for
Yes,
anybody.
it is. I told you
Having
about
to
the
be-
Terry Taylor one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned a genius not too long ago in this
Which one?
interview. You did. I don't know. You said someone was a genius, but
There's
speaking
a
of
bunch of them out
geniuses,
there compared to me. You're a genius.
no, I don't know about that. Early in 1989, we already spoke about on a previous episode, WWF took enhancement talent Steve Lombardi, a man that was known to fillet, and he got
You're known to what?
fillet.
Like a fish? Fillet of fish?
No, fillet. Servicing.
Who? Lombardi?
Yeah, he was known to fillet.
Well, you better not let him hear you say that.
But it's not a secret.
It is to me.
Well, oh, come on
Even
now.
if I knew, I wouldn't go tell the world.
You told the story about the elevator ride with Patterson
All
and Terry
I heard
Garvin.
was he said,
Yeah.
let's do what we did last night.
And I don't think they were playing cribbage, that's for sure. Arnie Skolin wasn't with them.
No,
But
Arnie was.
it-
Arnie was so fun. I miss him too.
I
man.
thought that was a creative way to do something with Steve Lombardi, to take him from just an enhancement guy and kind of give him a little bit of gimmick as Brooklyn Brawler. And then in the spring of '89, WWF went the same route. They took frisbee throwing, poem reading Lanny Poffo, another man that
Palm
was
reading.
known to fillet only himself instead of others.
Filet?
Fillet,
Okay.
little fellatio. And
Is that what I do when I cut them fish with that little knife that hooks around
It's
and
fillet a fish.
fillet?
Fillet a fish, not
Now I'm
filleting.
gonna feel like
Hopefully you're not
now I'm
filleting
gonna feel
the
like
fishes.
I'm blowing a fish. And if it's a blowfish, it's blowing me back.
But WWF took enhancement talent, Lanny Poffo. They turned him into the genius, giving him a little bit of a gimmick, a little bit more of a push. Do you think that was a good thing for Lanny? Did Lanny
Well,
seem
yeah, of course,
happy
he
with
was there
it,
for a
or
long time.
Any memories of Lanny morphing into the genius?
Well, Lanny's intelligent. He's part of a Mensa club anyway.
It's part of the what?
He's a Mensa club. That you got to have a score of what, 150 or higher to get in
Oh,
Mensa?
really?
Yeah. And we always said to Lanny, like, damn, what's it like to be, you're a genius. I mean, you're in the Mensa club. He goes, well, it's my brother that's a genius. He's way up the scale. So we're like, holy shit. Yeah, Randy was too, man. Randy's the one that told me one time, brother, sometimes it's a curse to be this smart. and Johnny Polo, but he went on to be Raven. Him and I are like great friends. But he told me, he goes, man, when you're that smart and you're around dumb people all the time, he goes, it's just not fun walking through life. I can imagine, because I'm a dumb person myself, and I see all these people not as, how do I say that? Not as, I can't call myself smart, and I don't want to call them dumber.
I think you're a wise man.
I tell wise tales.
I think you have a lot of knowledge, and I think you have a very good memory.
Well, I appreciate that. Can I get a handshake on that
Well,
one?
it's
Oh yeah, we got
Corona time
a
still.
socially fist bump.
Socially
Well, that ain't
distanced
supposed-
fist bump.
Shannon Sharp. That's my favorite show. Lil Wayne opens it up. But what is it called, Matt Daddy? Undisputed. No mercy, no mercy. They do the fist bump. Him and
Yeah.
Skip Bayless. They don't touch. They just, let's do it. Let's practice it once, like that.
All right.
Yep. And we should do that now. We'd be still in there.
Still in the
How
gimmick.
can we creatively
We'll do
borrow
maybe the
it?
elbow?
No, because somebody did that. Biden and somebody did that.
Him and Kamala.
Yeah. Who?
Oh, Kamala, I'm sorry. Saturday night, March the 11th. It was a big one. It was, forget about Saturday Night Live, it was WWF Saturday Night's main event on
event.
NBC, 11:30 p.m.
Is it that late?
That's when it started, yeah.
Holy
Because they
shit,
took
you-
Saturday Night Live's time slot.
Oh, 11 o'clock then.
11:30 after the
Was
news.
it 11:30?
After the news, yeah.
No. Wow, imagine if they had a 10 o'clock or 9:30 time slot.
Well, remember we've mentioned before when they did the Friday night special, the main event in 1988, February, when they did Hogan and Andre, 33 million people tuned in.
Damn.
That was one of the biggest
Big.
nights in the history of the
that's
industry.
record
Yeah.
breaking. What time did y'all tune in tonight?
We start at 10.
Yeah, okay. So that was the last week that I saw too. It was 10.
10. Yeah,
Then we
well,
used
we
to
do it every
9.
week at 10. We did, but because of to try and keep everything equal and even and
Fit
easier
in
for
from
people to
places.
remember, we have to do 10 o'clock on Friday night for John Cena Sr.
just
because
Friday
when
night.
SmackDown ends. So I figured why not have all of the talk shows start at the same time so it's
Right.
easier for people to remember. The 10 o'clock power hour, baby.
What do y'all think? Throw your thoughts in on that, because we're thinking, some of us are thinking 9 o'clock is a better time.
Yeah, you know what? If the fans want 9 o'clock, we can always change it.
Let's see what people say.
Yeah.
Let's see what y'all say. You know, because you can always write in. What's that called when you're
Chatting.
chatting? You chat
Chatting.
in during the show.
And they can always hit the super chat button, which keeps the lights on and helps us keep you booked, brother.
That goes to Paramount. No, what's-
Patreon.
Patreon.
If they subscribe to the Patreon, which is the cost of about a cup of coffee at Starbucks, they get early, ad-free access
And
to
Dunkin'
the show.
Donuts. That one yesterday was
Plus all
expensive.
those studio shoot interview DVDs, and you keep the legends working. So what was that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what you're talking about now. But
Yeah.
March the 11th, Saturday night's main event, it was taped about a month before in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Well, you know what we used to, the first one, the very first one, you mean? Because what we did, one of us, why they call it Saturday Night main Event Live.
Well, the first one was in 1985.
Well, no, what I'm saying, we taped, it was actually a live show, the first. Then we taped like a week or two. Those would be taped, but still go as, Saturday night.
Oh,
Main
yeah.
Event.
Oh, I understand what
Yeah.
you mean. Yeah. Yeah. They weren't taped on Saturday. They were part of usually a
Right.
Superstars taping or a
Right.
challenge. Yeah. They did a great job heating up the guys for WrestleMania 5, which was, at that point, maybe one of the biggest nights in the history of the company, at least as far as pay-per-view buys went. But on Saturday night's main event, you and the Brainbusters battled to a double countout on NBC.
I remember
in
that,
front
too.
of a
Didn't we fight back
giant
to the
crowd.
dressing room?
Absolutely, and then you throw in, I got to ask you this.
Okay.
Not only are you getting that big prime, a little after prime time, but you're in that time slot that folks are familiar with for Saturday Night Live.
Right.
Those NBC specials did big ratings on NBC. This was probably the biggest showcase you had
Yeah.
in WWF
I
as
think
far
so.
as the number of eyes watching, where you had on top of the tag team division what you could maybe call a slower paced program with Demolition and the Powers of Pain. Did it motivate you guys to up the ante a little bit to maybe show what you guys could do for the tag team division on such a big platform like NBC?
I think what we always did, I think Sean will, is it the right word to say attest to this? I can spell that one.
He attested to it.
Yeah, attest. I don't know why. That word never come out of my mouth before. But anyway, he can confirm this. We pretty much always adapted to who we were working with. If we got Paul Diamond, and at one point he went as Kato under Damascus as the Orient Express, and Tanaka, who were two of the best workers as a team. As far as athletic ability, those they were the best we ever worked with. So we could do so much, and that's why that Royal Rumble match '91.
Oh, I can't wait to get to that one.
Oh man, and I still get emails and stuff, talking about that match when
Talk
they see
about
it.
stealing the show.
Oh man, and Roddy Piper was so good because he was announcing. Remember, he was going crazy. My God, and this is just the first match. He was so good.
Now, Roddy, as we mentioned last night, Roddy was one that liked a little variety.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say.
Who knows what's under that kilt, as Bobby Heenan used to say, right?
Yeah. You know what he said he was on Arsenio Hall one time. And remember Arsenio had his talk show thing, and then Roddy was on there. And it was for the Survivor Series. I got a bunch of Survivor he wore to kill. He stayed in character pretty much. A lot of the guys will go on there and become themselves, but they're dressed up in their character, and so they're being them and they're not being their character. And it kind of throws you off, because they're dressed the part. If you come in regular clothes, it'd be one thing. But you come like Bad News. I think Bad News was actually going to wear his damn little black tight things out there, and they said, nah.
That would be a little much, I think.
Yeah. But he was gonna stay in character all the way up to the tights, you know. Macho Man stayed in character. You know, I used to watch it because Sean and I was supposed to go on and something went wrong. Imagine that. And
Yeah, this is a surprise, right?
and,
But so it was a big deal to work those Saturday night main events.
Yeah.
Because not only if
but I was gonna say about Roddy.
sorry.
No, okay. Roddy. You know, we learned so much from him. You were talking about he liked other things or something.
he liked a little variety in life.
Yeah.
A little variety.
You know, that one time that Sean and I had the accident and got into it, I was starting to see some of that variety come out. When he was rubbing his fingers through Sean's hair, and oh, you're going to be so great. And he's pulling Sean to it. From Sean's, you know, in defense for Sean, he was pulling back. You know? And,
From what I was told, Roddy was a very touchy individual. Is that?
I don't know.
Safe
He never
to
touched
say?
me a whole lot. I didn't see him.
all
The only
right,
person
well.
I saw him touchy was Sean that night.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, and Roddy told us a good piece for you guys, new guys out there. We got upset about even that show, the Royal Rumble. You know, we thought we were pretty good, and you know, the Rockers were pretty good. So while we were like it was like every pay-per-view. We're the in house shows. You know, there's no TVs there. You put on, you build up. Excuse me, my voice here. I gotta get some more.
Little Fabo pop.
This is good stuff, y'all. By the way.
Thank you, Johnny.
Yes, this is very good. The root beer is what I'm drinking. I left the root out, but the it was pretty good.
It was good, yeah. I think I got to reel you back into 1989, brother.
Wait, let me
all right.
finish Piper, because this is something for
right.
the young guys to learn to know.
Oh, that's important to me.
Okay.
Then. All right.
They you know, in house shows, you put on you build up to the main event, or you should. You know, that's why some guys like Brad Rangens, who I love to death, and I'm not going to say no more names because that might be embarrassing to them, but we used to say their ring music was the national anthem. You know, 'cause
Right, yeah.
You just played the national
Scott
anthem,
Casey
then
was
you
one
go
you
out.
mentioned, yeah.
Hair shooting out of my head. You know, I ain't had a haircut in 6 months, except for I did it the other day, and you see what I did.
Kind of got the Bruce Valanche look going.
Who's that?
The comedian.
Is that anything like?
A little like Bruce.
Oh, so
yeah.
do I look funny? Is that what you're saying?
No, just that's what they hear. All you need are a pair of funny-looking glasses, and you could be
I got them somewhere.
Marty Valanche.
What'd I do with them?
I can't
I'll
hear you,
have 'em in a
Prodigy,
little
but I know
bit.
you're chuckling along.
Yeah, I hear Matt Daddy in there.
All right, so what were you saying now?
So, yeah, pay-per-view. So we're joking on, ribbing on them, as they call it. I don't know why I don't like that term either. You know, I got some weird quirks, right? But I didn't like shoot. Marty shoots. So if y'all have been following, if you notice at the beginning, we'd always say Marty shoots on this, and it's pretty much accepted in all the interviews. People do that. You know, this guy shoots on this or shoots on. But I guess I'm so old school that I don't like that word shoot, being in front of something, because for me, the shooting means this is going to be rough. You're about to tell some shit that you didn't.
Or it's said in anger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
raw and it's real.
And the way it's looked at nowadays, that's not necessarily the case.
Well,
So
like I
quote
say-
unquote, a shoot interview is just something done honestly
Right.
out of character.
Well, he shoots.
So there's,
basically,
there's
just
different
means,
ways to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then some people, when they admit to it, it's clickbait. You know, because you're like, oh man, he's going to say something. He shoots on Hogan. Oh God, I got to see this.
Well, I think any interview you do out of character out of gimmick is a shoot interview.
Yeah.
So that is I understand your point of view. But that's just my point of view. I think anytime someone sits down in this chair and then you're not Marty Jannetty talking about a match coming up next Saturday night at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, it's a real interview. It's a shoot interview.
Right.
But a lot of people, they hear the terminology shoot interview and they think, you know, you're coming out guns a-blazing.
Right. And see, the way, man, I'm 36 years in the business. 36 years in the
Seven,
business.
actually, now. It's 2021.
Yeah, it's going to be,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
seven years now, 37 years. When the word shoot first came out, and Dan and I, we had to talk this out, and you know, I see his side, and I think you see my side.
We had a very respectful conversation about it.
You know, it's sort of like the Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah.
It's the same subject, but you both got.
We looked at it a little different.
Yeah. And
it was respectful.
Yes.
Which is what was most important.
Right. And so, but for me, you know, I'm almost been in the business as long as he's been alive, right? Because you're 40, 39?
41.
41.
Well, this year I'll be 41.
Well, now, right?
September.
But so, the word shoot in the industry started way back in Japan. Before Ultimate Fighting and all that stuff, you know, became very popular. The Japanese would call it, oh, watch this match, it's going to be a shoot. And, you know, all the American boys would shoot. What's that mean? Oh, they're going to go out there for real. You know, and they would shoot. They would like, it's not staged. They might give you, like, say, hey, y'all do this, you do this, you do this, you go over. But in the shoot one, it's understood, no, we're going out there and whoever knocks the other one out wins.
Right.
They just call it a shoot. And then the interviews come along. And, you know, when somebody would, like, tell some shit, like, say I didn't like Hogan, and I wanted to talk about when he said the N-word, like, yeah, they would say, you know, we remember that, like, with his daughter, he didn't want his daughter dating, you know, Brooke. That's such a cute-ass thing, man. I held her like this. Hulk would have me watch her, hold her, like, when he'd go to the ring. Now she's a grown-up, she's, like, tall, too.
We worked with her when we helped with TNA do a fan fest and a pay-per-view up here. And very nice, but you're right, very tall.
God, yes, she is, ain't she? And I didn't shrink down. They measured me the other day. It was 5'8". At the pre-op.
Really?
I say the other day. It's been, well, on this show, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got upset. I said, look, man, I'm only 5'11". Don't take nothing from me. And she goes, well, look, I guess from the ankles collapsing, I lost an inch or so there. And being older. It makes sense. Yeah, and then being older, your spine compresses, I guess. So I started off short and got shorter. I'm wondering if I can sue the government for building the sidewalk so close to my ass. You know, but anyway, hell, what was we talking about?
We were talking Saturday night's main event. We have to wrap up the show. I'm hearing I got the cue from the back. One question though, with Saturday night's main event was.
Wait, let me finish real quick. I'll make it fast. To be put on first match used to be, we thought was an insult. Like we're no better than curtain jerkers, and then Roddy Piper took us aside. He goes, "It's the biggest compliment you can get." Because it's a pay-per-view. You got on people tuning in, a lot of new faces that don't know much about wrestling, but they're part of a party. That's what, you know, you want to start it off with a bang, so you give what close to your best. You got to have that main event, the one you paid, you know, all that money goes into promoting that show. But you give them the best match, the first match, where it be it a tag, where tags are so easy to do good.
And you know, it's funny.
But don't ever take that as an insult to be put on first in big shows. It's a compliment.
We'll certainly save this for the chronological order we're attempting to do in 1990. But you guys also opened up SummerSlam in 90, just a couple of months before.
Was that where Sean was hurt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, you were put out there to set the pace.
Several times. That's why we got upset. And
so one more question before we go though. For Saturday night's main event, did you get the double payoff for those? The payoff from the house and the payoff from NBC, like a lot of the guys?
Not us. We just got the one from WWE.
You didn't get the extra NBC payoff?
Not that I remember. If we did, I don't remember that.
Really?
I don't
but
think
was
we
it
did,
a good
though.
payoff for the Saturday night main events? What you remember getting?
It wasn't like the pay-per-view payoff.
No, definitely not. But it was definitely enhanced.
I think it was pretty much
better than a house show.
Not really. I thought I was going to say it's pretty much what. If it was a big house, you got a better check. If it was a small venue, then we didn't really make that much. Yeah.
There were a lot of guys.
And I might remember that wrong,
maybe
but
remember it wrong.
I'm pretty sure that it. You know, everybody's wasn't the same. You know, there were some people got treatment different. That's why Nailz jumped at Vince that one time when he found out he was wrestling Bosch, man. In the same match, that was a pay-per-view.
No, he was angry about the payoff for the match with Virgil at SummerSlam, because that incident happened.
You talking about Nailz?
Yeah, the incident happened in December.
Boss, man, go ahead.
No, the incident happened in December of '92. The match with the Boss Man was just a couple of weeks before, so they wouldn't have had the buy rate info to give him the payoff yet. He was angry that he only got, I think it was $6,000 for his SummerSlam match with Virgil. Because you know it took a couple of months for you to get those pay-per-view payoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 months, 2 months back then. Yeah.
So he wouldn't have had his Thanksgiving Survivor Series payoff in December.
Well, all I can do, I was there, and all I can do is say what I know.
Yeah.
Me and Sean were in the ring like we always are. Like, hey, what if we shot a guy that way, and I sling you, and you know, coming up with new stuff. And Nailz with Kevin Kelly, who we knew from Kansas City, not Kansas City,
AWA
in Minneapolis. him and I got along. We were buddies. I mean, he was somebody you just don't mess with. And I was thankful he was my buddy. But he come out to the ring and he trusted my advice. I think Nailz wasn't there that long. I think he was.
No, but not even a year.
Yeah, and he came out to the ring and he goes, Marty, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, man, he's serious about something. Hold on, Sean. And he didn't call Sean. I don't think he liked Sean for some reason. I mean, Sean had an attitude back then, but to the point, he says, I'm going to go, what do you think? I want your opinion first. I'm like, okay, what? He goes, I'm going to go back there and kick the shit out of Vince McMahon. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm at my ear, what? Yeah, I'm going to, he said Boss Man. He was in the match with Boss Man. Because I would have remembered Virgil. I'm like, man, don't know. Virgil, they just had to take, I would have went a whole different route if it had been Virgil. But he said Boss Man.
But if it was early December, you wouldn't have had your Survivor Series payoff yet.
All I know is all I'm saying is what he said to me.
Okay.
And he said that him and Boss Man were in the same. Were they ever in the same?
Yes, they did work Survivor Series,
Okay,
but would you guys have had a payoff for Thanksgiving
I don't
in
know.
early December?
Again, I'm just saying what was
he
said to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He said, I was in the same match with Boss Man. Why shouldn't I get paid the same? And I was like, I know that does happen, but generally, for the most part, you do get paid the same as your opponent. Now, if you're in a main event type thing, Hogan's going to get more than, whoever else. In semi-main, if you're Macho Man and you're working with Rick Martel, Macho might get a little more.
Yeah.
But from mid-card on down, you should be getting the same thing. And I think they were maybe upper mid-card.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, yeah. And he found out somehow that Boss Man got paid a good chunk better than him. I don't know what that is, because we didn't quote numbers. He just said, he got paid different than me. I got to feed my family. I got to put food on the table. He's taking food out of my family's mouth. That's the one thing I remember that he said the most, because he was like, Vince is taking food out of my family's mouth. And I was like, well, don't go back there and fuck him up. I mean, that's not going to work. Go talk to him. And he sat there and he thought about it. I said, if you beat him up, you're going to probably get released or fired, or you're going to in all kinds of trouble. Just go back and tell him what you know, that he didn't get paid the same. Stay calm. Okay, I'll try. And then he turned and he did that Nailz walk away. That was his real walking life, Nailz. Kevin Kelly, how he walked. That character was so perfect for him, especially when he grew that beard. And now I know I'm veering. I'm gonna hurry up because we got to go out. It's so funny. A lot of guys find this out. Kevin used to be. He built his body. He was strong as fuck, but he built his body up. I mean, he worked out. He kept the look. Everything good, great build. Unbelievable build. And he was 6'4". Kind of probably started so skinny or something because he was still lean like Rick Rude. He was lean but built like a, and he just was getting nowhere outside of the AWA, and AWA was tumbling, and so he just quit. He gained a lot of weight, grew a beard, looked scruffy and shit. And then he got hired. He was like, God damn, if I'd known this earlier. But so that was, he went to the back, and then later we hear a bunch of screaming. I'm looking at Sean like, this sounds like another one of Davey Boy's thing. What's going on? Dynamite Kid. And so we go sprinting back there. And it was in Green Bay because I remember how the dressing rooms were. And I look around the corner, all the Minneapolis boys, like Mike Enos, Wayne Bloom, they were, what were they called?
Beverly Brothers.
Beverly Brothers, John Nord, all these Minneapolis boys, because Kevin Kelly was Minneapolis. And Barry Darsow, all of them were pulling, he had Vince by the throat. And Vince was going down to his knees, and his eyes, his face was turning purple. I thought he was going to die right there. It looked like he was squeezing the shit out of a cat. And I wouldn't know that, because I've never squeezed a cat. But Vince is going down, and he's choking him. They were full kill him. They're all of them. I think Sergeant Slaughter was in there. I don't know if he's in Minneapolis, but they was the ones pulling Kevin off. And Kevin was smart enough. The first thing he did when they finally got him away, I'm sitting out there, and I thought, I don't know if I should say anything to Kevin or run in case he's still mad. But I just kind of backed off, and Kevin walked by, and right 4 feet outside the door, remember now, it was payphone days. There's a payphone in the hallway. He goes right on it, calls the police. He goes, "I'd like to make a report. I just got fondled by, it's known that he's a gay man and he does this with us wrestlers, and Vince McMahon just fondled me. So I had to make him stop." And the police came and made a report. But I mean, I don't know whatever
Must
happened.
have been a hell of a day at the TV taping.
But I don't know, and I don't know whatever happened now. I know we know Kevin wasn't back again, but I don't know if he got lawsuited or anything, or if he tried to. But I thought it was smart to protect himself, because usually in incidents like that, it's the one who calls first that they side with. You know, if that was a guilty person like him, but he called first and said he got fondled. He reached out.
Well, and he was smart because he knew that was the year that all those sex and drug scandals were breaking out. So
that's why
he was very, very smart the way, not very ethically, but he was smart in the way he decided to handle it for himself, as far as maybe protecting himself from Vince taking legal action against him.
Right, exactly.
Vince had enough legal problems as it was.
Or you putting him in jail, man, because that's a solid.
And they would live his gimmick. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right, wrestling fans, we're running out of time on this one. We took a jump leap from 89 to 92 to end it, but for my good friend Marty Jannetty, I'm Dan Marotti. Again, take advantage of all the great offerings we have. If you're watching during the premiere Thursday night, hit that super chat button. Give us a nice meal. Go out for a nice cuisine tonight, maybe, or even a cold adult beverage.
What's that place called?
Kowloon.
Kowloon.
The world famous Kowloon Entertainment Dining Complex.
We won't make it tonight, huh?
We won't make it, baby.
Damn.
All right, Patreon, eBay. We got the T-shirts on BostonWrestling.com, and we got you. Because I know you guys are sharing the links.
Curveball.
I know you're hitting the thumbs up, and I know you're subscribing, and we love you. Because the more you guys help us, the more shows we can give them.
And get in touch with me through Facebook. You promoted my people in Boston. Get in touch with me.
Yeah, we're always looking for sponsors. We're rotating on the screen as we speak. Until we speak again, you and yours be well, stay healthy. Good night.
The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, Washington, Tuesday, February the 11th, 1986. It was WWF's debut in Tacoma. In the opening contest, CV Afi beat Rene Goulet. Hercules with the win over S.D. Jones. Adrian Adonis defeated George Wells. Cousin Luke victorious over Mr. X. Corporal Kirchner and Dan Spivey beat Nikolai Volkov in the Iron Sheik. Junkyard Dog with the win over Terry Funk. And in the main event, the WWF Intercontinental Champion Macho Man Randy Savage retained the title over George the Animal Steele via countout. If you were in Tacoma live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep wrestling legends working in our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.